As a mother who has lost a son to fentanyl poisoning, I deeply understand the border crisis and the human impact that it is having. My question to you is, how do we cut through the red tape and move faster to reach every child across the U.S. with education-based prevention programs? We can't afford to sit idle while more lives are lost to innocent children who have no knowledge of this.
Yes, ma'am. And how old was your son?
He was 19 in 2021.
2021. Mm-hmm. I'm very sorry to hear it. What was his name?
Tucker.
Okay. I'll say a prayer for him tonight.
Thank you.
And not nearly in the way that you do, but we've of course experienced the problems of addiction in my own family. And one of the ways that I think about this is we want people to have second chances, because when you're caught in the throes of addiction, it's so hard to get out of it. But a lot of people do get out of it. But if they get out of it and then they relapse, into fentanyl, sometimes there's not another second chance. And that's really what we have to change. That's why this poison is so dangerous and so deadly, is it takes away those second chances from our families, from our moms, from our dads, from our kids. It's got to stop. And it's disgraceful that we frankly have a government right now that's facilitating it instead of stopping it. And you talked about cutting through the red tape and what we can do on prevention and education. I think one of these things is, you can only do so much with so many dollars. And so let's say you have curriculum money that's going into radical gender ideas instead of teaching kids how to say no to drugs, how to resist peer pressure, the warning signs for addiction. Because look, you probably appreciate this, ma'am, having seen it, but some people get addicted the minute they take an opioid. And some people could take Percocet for 3 years and never get addicted. I've seen this even with my own friends who had a minor surgery, who take one Percocet and like, I'm never taking it again because I liked it way too much. It did something to me. We got to teach kids to recognize, right, when they're going down that very dark pathway. The second thing is, and I know friends from back home, family from back home, who were involved in detox. And if you think about recovery as being a very long road, the very first step is very often detox. And there are not enough detox facilities in the United States of America right now. We should empower our churches and our local community organizations to provide those detoxes, because you can't get into recovery if you don't do the detox first. And it's very, very hard to take that first step. So why don't we make it easier to take that first step in the first place, shut down the poison coming into our country in the first place, and teach our children the red flags and the warning signs about addiction. I think if we do that, we'll start getting down the road of solving this. Look, it is an unspeakable human tragedy what's going on in this country. 100,000 people, many of them in the prime of their lives. I've known so many people who have lost their lives to this, and I'm sure, ma'am, you're asking yourself the same questions, like, who would you have fallen in love with, right? What his kids have looked like? The human tragedy that we're allowing to happen in this country, it has got to stop. President Trump and I will fight to stop it, I promise you.